to Book Your Success, the online show for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, about entrepreneurs. This show spotlights authors who have books which provide information, innovation, and inspiration needed by successful entrepreneurs and business professionals. It includes a special focus on how authors use their book to market and build their brand. Let's join host and entrepreneur Anita Paul with today's guest.
Hello and welcome to Book Your Success. I'm Anita Paul, the author's midwife with WriteYourLife.net, and welcome again to another episode of our fantastic show. We have a wonderful guest, a dear friend and colleague, and we're going to get to introduce her in just a second. Want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by Visual Marketing Mentors. For anyone who has a trade show coming up and you want to make your trade show presence phenomenal, obviously you need a booth, you need signage, you need the whole 9 yards to make your 3-second first impression amazing. You want to contact Visual Marketing Mentors at www.visualmarketingmentors.com, and Keys Spencer will hook you up and you will be the life of the party. visualmarketingmentors.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Book Your Success today. And we are here in the studio with a dear friend and strategic partner, Bonnie Daneker. She is CEO of WIT Advisors. She enables her clients to express themselves digitally and in print. She is a book maven. She's amazing. And beyond the book, of course. Formerly, she was president of B.D. Donaldson Publishing. She is author and co-author of several books, including the Compassionate Caregiver series and Publishing as a Marketing Strategy, which I'm also a co-author of. Yes. Fabulous book. Got to pick it up. Bonnie spent over 10 years in consulting, creating 5 successful startups. So she is a phenomenal serial entrepreneur. She holds a BA from The Ohio State University and an MBA from Emory University. She was inducted into the Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame of Wadsworth City Schools and serves as a top idea maven for the Women's Advantage. She is co-author, contributor, editor, creator, the mastermind behind Climb, leading women in technology share their journeys to success. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Love this book. Love the collaborative effort. Tell us how it came about.
Thank you. It was definitely a labor of love. So several years ago, Sandy Hofmann, who was the president of Women in Technology, had the great idea to kind of showcase some of the women that had really made their marks in the technology field. So she said, let's put together a book of their success stories. So together with her, we interviewed 63 women and 5 men. Some of these women wrote their own entries, and we wrote other entries. And then we added a small portion for the Girls Get IT program. So the book actually is not only a showcase for all these women in technology, but it's a beneficial effort so that we can support the Girls Get IT program from our Women in Technology Foundation.
Fantastic. So Women in Technology, tell us a little bit about that organization.
So that's a special interest group of the Technology Association of Georgia. And what we do is we try to support women throughout their career, from young girls, as the Girls Get IT, all the way through girls and WIT on campus, all the way through for young women as they start their campus careers and their professional careers, and then into their professional lives after they graduate from technical or graduate school. So we have the whole breadth of support from mentorship and professional experience. So what we try to do is really help them not only from an academic perspective, but a mentorship and an enlightenment perspective, where they can see some of the behind the job scenes and some of the shadowing of what they can expect later in their career.
Which is really important, because we've heard a lot of talk lately about STEM.
Yes.
Science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
Correct.
You know, women historically have not been encouraged and supported probably in those fields. And so an organization like Women in Technology and others is really important.
It's very important. And like I said, we have that whole breadth. So, I was surprised when we first started brainstorming about this book, Climb, how many women we did have in these leadership positions in technology.
More than we ever really hear about.
Exactly.
The unsung sheroes.
Sheroes, exactly. So it's everyone from, chairmen and women's of the board to, the chief information officers, chief executive officers, down to engineers, down to founding engineers, and we see their impact, whether we know it or not, in our everyday living. So, we don't go anywhere without our cell phones. We use the GPS in the cars. We use every kind of technology to make our work in life easier, and we really need women to be engaged in the workforce. Absolutely. So, and to highlight some of the precursors, some of the early forerunners in our technology was really a wonderful thing to do. I mean, they've been at it in some cases for 30 years, wow, which is just amazing.
Wow, behind the scenes, again, these women who we don't hear from often, so it's very nice to hear from them.
Right.
In a book like this, who's the book targeted to?
Well, it's so funny. When we were writing the stories and we were interviewing these women, we thought, originally we thought we wanted the generation behind these successful women to read these stories and to really understand some of the things that they had overcome. But what happened is we saw this breadth of experience, and we saw the breadth of readership that could benefit from that experience. And so when we think about it, we think anybody can benefit from this, but really we're targeting young women, women in mid-career, and women who are advanced in their career but maybe looking for a new change. So there are lessons at every phase of your leadership path.
Agreed. It is inspiring. It is encouraging. Mm-hmm. And it's also kind of nice that there are some men involved.
Absolutely.
In this project. How was the decision? What was the decision to include men's stories in that book?
Well, it's funny. So there are 63 women. There are 5 men, and obviously this was going to be a completely female-focused effort, being that it's from the Women in Technology organization. We had intended to really showcase all of the women who had something to do with the organization and the foundation. And when we looked at that breadth of people, we said, wait a minute, there are some men in this organization, in our leadership boards, and in the foundation. Wait a minute, there's some men in our foundation. And really, the more that we talked to some of the women when we interviewed, the more that we saw that they had mentors, that they had champions at work that were men.
Right.
So there were 5 that bubbled up to the top, and some were in the academic world, some were in the medical field, a lot were in the commercial industry that had really supported these women's efforts. So we reached out to them and said, we'd like to showcase you too for all the help and assistance that you've given to women in the technology field. Right.
That's excellent. It's good that some of these women have been able to name men as mentors, but also I think it's important to include men, as you said, lots of people can benefit from the book, to include men as a target audience as readers, because they need to see, especially if they're in decision-making positions at corporations, that there are women who are out there and who are capable and who have some amazing stories.
No question.
In the technology field.
Well, someone once wisely said to me, just because someone thinks differently than you doesn't mean that they're thinking wrong. So I thought that was really fascinating when I was hearing these women who had similar lines of thinking as compared to the men who had different lines of thinking. Right. They were working at the same problem from 2 angles, providing 2 great solutions. So really it was a position of having more solutions for the problem, and there's strength and options. Okay. So different you can look at both perspectives and find the better of the 2.
Absolutely. I love that. So tell us about some of the women who are featured in the book, and maybe 1 or 2 of your favorite stories.
Oh, it's hard to tell which is my favorite, because they're all very good. So there are themes throughout the book, like overcoming adversity and risking things, showcasing what your strengths are, avoiding your fears, a lot of different themes that came out in different ways. And some of the women showcased their personal experiences as children that were formative as women, or their parents' effect on them. Some of them overcame adversity because someone said they couldn't do it.
And we love that. We love a good challenge.
We love a good challenge.
I dare you to tell me I can't do something.
Well, and there is positive motivation and negative motivation, but I liked those the best, where, one of the gals, Ellen Berg, she was involved with the Citadel, and how many women are in there? And I'm sure that she overcame a little bit of adversity in hers.
And I'm sure there are some things that she experienced she didn't talk about in her story.
Oh, absolutely.
She probably won't be able to tell people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then there's another woman who said that, she had a boss that she didn't agree with, and she would continue to argue with her boss. And one day her boss took her aside in private and said, someday you'll be a manager and you will understand that this is not productive. And that really hit her, because years later when she was a manager, she experienced something similar.
Oh, it comes back on you.
It does.
It's kind of like the parent, grandparent kind of thing.
Exactly. And the children that you raise and the horror stories
you can't
as a
wait till
teenager.
they get what they gave you.
Yeah, they get it in spades. But, the funny thing is that, like I said, even though these women are coming at it from different directions, they're thinking similarly, and it's all really for the benefit of everyone. So I love that kind of collaborative community feel that the book has, that it's really good for everyone. And, as we look at the changes generationally going forward, we want to have a more inclusive environment. So I think that Climb is very powerful for this, because it kind of prepares us for some of the challenges that we might have in the future, in the lens of the challenges that we saw in the past. So kind of giving us advice on how to manage those challenges in the future.
Yeah, we have to learn from the past.
Yes.
Now, with 63 stories, or you said you interviewed 63 women.
So there are 68 total stories.
68 total stories. I know you had to talk to more than 68 people.
Yes.
How did you narrow it down?
Well, unfortunately, some of the women did not have time in their schedules. And we had to decide at what level meant success, because different organizations have different leadership roles. For example, nonprofit is different from academic, is different from government, is different from commercial. So we try to really pick those senior directors and above, all the way through the founders of entrepreneurial efforts, to say you had to impact a personnel decision, you had to impact a financial decision, and you had to impact a product or service decision. So that was really your leadership impact in one of those roles. And unfortunately, there were some women who we had on the list, we wanted to have included, and they were not able to be included, as I said. And because of that, I get asked all the time, are you going to do a second book? Is it going to be called Climb Higher? And we'd love to do that. And maybe that'll happen in the future, so that we can highlight some of those women and the women who have come into those leadership roles in the meantime since this book has been produced.
Excellent. We love a sequel, right?
Yes, we love a sequel.
So what are some of you talked about some of the inspiring stories, but some of the sort of themes or issues that are covered in the book, and why focus on this, I guess, kind of how do you connect each of the stories to the title of the book, which is Climb?
So the title of the book is Climb, because we wanted to showcase the women in their own climbing efforts, and also when they reach a hand back to the generation of leaders behind them to help them climb up the achievement ladder. So it's not necessarily a corporate ladder, it's not necessarily a physical ladder, but just a metaphoric accomplishment ladder. And we thought about, are there certain things that we want to ask people to comment on? Did we want the contributors to focus on a particular subject? And we decided not to give them that parameter. We decided to say, here's your word count. What is most important to you? And as I said before, some of these themes emerged about overcoming adversity and taking risks and just challenging your status quo, challenging the situation. And that's something that really binds all the stories together, is challenging the status quo. And we want to do that to improve. We don't want to do that just for the sake of challenging, because that doesn't help anybody.
Exactly.
So if we have an opportunity to improve, how are we going to do it, and how are we going to find those possibilities and that potential, and really reach for it to make our future better for ourselves and then the next generation.
And you mentioned the next generation in terms of reaching a hand back to bring them forward. One of the great, I think, benefits of this book is that proceeds from the sales go to a foundation. Talk about that a little bit.
Thank you. So this is Women in Technology's Foundation, and what we try to do is focus on efforts for young women and girls that are specific to STEM. And we have a little bit of a challenge with this, because, as you said, the T in STEM stands for technology, and technology weaves itself into every industry. So we want to support those girls that are focused on science, technology, engineering, and math as their career choice. So this can be broad, moving into the sciences and medicine and so forth. We have a lot that are interested in the CSI approach.
That is the hot thing these days.
It is. It is. And, that's kind of interesting what they see on TV. They want to be, right? So the investigation part of it is is big. But knowing that we have those groups to support, we spend some of the money in the foundation to foster their education and their projects that give them that alternative awareness and that recognition. So one of those is First Robotics. And our Georgia team placed. We did a Peachtree final and a Georgia final and into the national finals. We didn't go into the international, but it's really wonderful to say a group of young girls from the Atlanta area is smart enough to compete on an international robotics stage.
Love it.
So, yes, we're happy to support that. We're happy to support reading in the academics and all of those mentorship programs that I started to talk about earlier in the show.
Excellent. And because technology really does touch every aspect of our lives. We were talking earlier about just who do you know who does not have a smartphone,
right?
A television, whatever. Yeah, so we need to think broadly and realize that, and even giving these young girls options for career choices, that it touches every aspect of everybody's life.
Right. So you have to be aware of it, and you have to say, if you have that interest, if you have that aptitude, if that's a good career choice for you. And I talked to a woman actually yesterday who was in her 50s. She decided to go back for her computer science degree. Good for her. Good. She had been in administration for a long time. She'd been exposed to a lot of different technology. She knew everything there was to know about word processing. And I'm definitely using her as a resource. But to go back and get that kind of degree, I really applauded her. And great. Actually, that's another thing that Women in Technology has a resource for, is women who are in their careers that want that support. We have networks, we have programs, we have executive training, and it's really something that she can take advantage of.
Excellent. Very good. So tell us some of the lessons that readers can learn from this book. What can we get from this?
Oh, I think the best one is never give up. Try again. I know that we've heard that before, but, one woman describes her viewing of Saturday morning cartoons where you're talking about the coyote and the roadrunner, and the coyote never gives up, and we never see him get the roadrunner. But in technology, the idea is, you have that process, you have that pursuit of the perfect product or the perfect service, and you keep trying, and in the process you learn. And so you say, how can you use this to make my next role better? How can I use this to teach the next generation? How can I use this to support my coworkers, or build the company, educate my customer base, whatever it is? But never give up. There's always another way to do something.
Absolutely.
And that's one of my favorite quotes from my father, which actually did not make it into the book, but has made it into our new book, which is, when you come across an obstacle, don't let it stop you. Okay. You can, if it's a brick wall, you can helicopter over it. You can run around it. You can dig under it. You can plow through it, but don't let it stop you. And that has really served me. And that has really served a lot of the women in this book, because oftentimes they were the only woman in the in the workforce. Oftentimes they were actively sexually harassed. They were actively uninvolved in conversations. They were actively unsupported, but they still managed to accomplish great things and achieve this level of success. And then you have other stories of, this is a new market. This product's never been created before. There have been multiple attempts that have failed. And again, these women are still achieving.
Keep trying.
Absolutely.
Every no leads to a yes. It reminds me of one of the stories I read in the book of a woman who's from North Carolina.
Yes.
And she wanted to attend a university. I guess the cost was prohibitive for her family. She went through all of these things, and she ended up going to a junior college, which was a wonderful, academic experience for her. Got into her career, and she kept saying no because of this, no because you don't have a 4-year college degree, no because, and she kept going. She went back to school to a 4-year, got her degree, and obviously her story is one of success because she has succeeded and she's gotten what she wanted in her career, and continues to evolve from a career perspective. And her, the theme of her story was never give up.
Right.
Every no leads to a yes, and you have to keep action, keep trying.
Right. And that leads me to another theme of the book, another story that I really enjoyed, which was, the partnership, the collaboration. When you reach out and you ask for help, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to help you.
Absolutely.
So she reached out and she looked for scholarships, and she looked for on-the-job training, and she looked for other mentorship opportunities that she took advantage of, and she was able to achieve what she did largely because of her own drive, but also because of these opportunities.
Absolutely love it. The book is Climb. The author is Bonnie Daneker. It is a collaborative effort, as a matter of fact. She is the editor and compiler. Co-editor.
Sandy Hofmann. Mm-hmm.
Okay, of this book. It is Climb, and the subtitle is Leading Women in Technology Share Their Journeys to Success. We're happy to have her in the studio today for Book Your Success. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
If you're running a small business these days, you know it's important to connect with your current customers. If you don't stay in touch, they'll forget why you're special. But not if you use email marketing from ConstantContact.com. Constant Contact is the easy, affordable way to reach your current customers. You can upload your logo, add pictures, and promote specials, even make a coupon. Remind your customers why your small business is special with ConstantContact.com. Prices as low as $15 a month.
Does your son need a more challenging, focused, and encouraging educational environment? Renaissance Christian Academy is an affordable private school for boys located in McDonough, Georgia, with certified teachers that are uniquely equipped to help your son master learning. You're welcome to schedule a tour of our facilities by calling 770-305-9881 or by visiting our website at rcaboysacademy.org. Renaissance Christian Academy, developing young men to be great leaders through Christ-centered learning.
Hi, I'm Pamela Adams-Alexander, technology strategist and executive producer of the BizLinks TV network. Are you using the same old techniques and elevator pitches in hopes of gaining new business, but the outcome is usually no new business? You're not alone. Many struggle to optimize the 30 to 60 seconds to spark interest in their service or product. Women business success coach Trina Newby of Women About Biz and Corey Network King Moore of Pro Networker and I have joined forces to bring you a powerful two-part series, Elevator Pitch 2.0, Winning Business Through the Power of Video. Part 1 is a webinar to help you perfect your pitch. Next, it's time to take that perfected pitch to the next level, video. Part 2 is a live seminar sharing techniques to elevate your pitch using video marketing. According to Forbes Insights, about 50% of those who viewed online marketing videos went on to make a purchase. So click now to reserve your spot. Space is limited to the first 40 who register. As a bonus, each attendee will receive an elevator pitch video professionally produced by BizLinks TV Network. Again, click now to start winning business through the power of video.
We're back here on Book Your Success. I'm Anita Paul, the author's midwife, your host, of course, with WriteYourLife.net. We are here in the studio with Bonnie Daneker. Love having her here. She's talking about the book Climb, which is a product and obviously to benefit Women in Technology, which is a fantastic organization here in Atlanta. We do want to give a shout out and thanks so much again to the sponsor for today's show, Visual Marketing Mentors. They are there to help you make a fantastic splash at any trade show, conference, convention, anything that you have a presence at where you need a booth, signage, information, the whole 9 yards. Get in touch with Ann Keys Spencer. She is the CEO of visualmarketingmentors.com. Be sure to contact her. She says the first 3 seconds of your presence at a trade show is critical, and Visual Marketing Mentors can help you make a splash. Visualmarketingmentors.com. So we're talking about Climb.
Yes.
This fantastic book. Let's tell the viewers how they can purchase the book.
Well, you can find the book in 2 places. You can find it at Amazon.com, of course, but you can also find it at the Women in Technology website, which is mywit.org. That's
Okay.
MYWIT.org. And you'll have to scroll around a little bit to find it. But The book is available obviously in the hard copy and then also in the electronic version, which is nice if you need like a quick beach read or if you even want to bring it in the car. You can certainly get it both ways.
Excellent, because we know we're all reading in different types of ways
Yes.
these days. So
Yes.
Now we were talking about another theme that is explored in the book. Let's talk about that.
Well, it's interesting. Some people say, these women that you interview, do you feel that they think that they are at the height of their career, that they have climbed to the highest pinnacle that they're ever going to achieve? And it's interesting because some time has passed since we wrote this a few months ago, and I've really found that these women will never stop climbing.
Right.
They're continuing to serve on boards. They're continuing to pursue the next level of responsibility in their company. They're looking at other partnerships, opportunities within other companies. They're really trying to keep growing and to keep climbing in their own pursuits. And I think that that's really interesting because there is a generation that says, once I hit the CEO suite, I'm done. I don't have to work hard. But these women aren't like that. And, of course, the men in there feel the same way.
Right.
They want to keep striving and keep going and keep accomplishing, which is really motivating.
That's a good lesson. That's a good lesson for women who are up and coming in their career.
Yes.
It's a good lesson for those young women who haven't started yet, who we talked about are being reached for to pull them forward, to help them climb.
Exactly. Well, it's not like the way it was a few centuries ago or even a few decades ago where you had to work at the same type of job your whole life or you had to work at the same company for 30 years and
Right.
you get the gold watch. So we really have a lot of opportunity to not only change industries and change companies, but change roles and change impacts. And it's a wonderful time for women right now.
Right.
I mean, my mom did not have the opportunity to go to medical school because at that time they didn't accept women in medical school. And that was something that she always wanted to do. And, my grandmother fought to be she was a suffragette. She fought to vote. So, we have seen these things in our lifetime that are major changes. And so I feel that stories like this are really laying the foundation for other stories that are going to happen for change too.
Absolutely. Times are changing. There's still struggles.
Yes.
We're still, having to push forward oftentimes.
We're getting better all the time.
But there's always a different opportunity, a different struggle,
Right.
and different, certainly opportunities for success
Right.
in careers for women. There's so much more that's open and available to us.
Of course.
For
And
the taking.
traditionally,
We gotta do it.
male-dominated or for the younger generation, I mean, we women have lots of opportunities. So if we don't take those opportunities, then it's really on us. We really
right.
need to look inside ourselves and say, are we strong internally? Do we have that constitution internally from our experience, from our expertise, from our education, from the network that we have, that we can be strong with ourselves no matter what the outside is saying, no matter what storms we come across, that we're going out and we're achieving because we want to achieve. Nothing really is holding us back now. It's kind of our effort, our responsibility to do what we can do, make our world the best it can be.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think that we do well as women, in addition to striving and achieving and accomplishing, is telling our stories. We're getting much, much better
Yes.
at that
Definitely.
than we used to. And the Climb is a wonderful example of that. Some of the books that you and I have participated in, these collaborative books, are compilation books where we have multitudes or multiple co-authors.
Right.
Are great examples of
Yes.
that. You and I worked together on the project, Publishing as a Marketing Strategy.
Yes, a wonderful collection of 6 authors.
Yes, talking about exactly that, how to use book publishing as a strategy to market your business and your enterprise. Climb is another wonderful example of a compilation or collaborative book.
Right.
We're working together now on
Yes.
another book called Building a Business, Building a Life,
Right.
Incredible Stories of Women Entrepreneurs. Tell me why you think collaborative and compilation books work so well, specifically for women in business.
Well, it's funny. I think that sometimes when you stare at a blank screen, it's very intimidating. And when you see that cursor blinking at you saying, come on, write something.
And write a lot.
Yes, you've got 2,500 words or whatever. It's a lot easier when you can call up the phone and call someone on the phone and say, hey, what are you writing about? Or
Right.
is there something that we can talk about as a group of authors where you take this piece, you take this piece, I'll take this piece. So we know that the topic is covered in whole, but we each have our own take on it.
Right.
And very complementary texts emerge from that collaborative efforts because we sit down ahead of time and say, this is kind of what we want the outcome to be. So the responsibility is not all on one writer, it's on a team of people that really have a good heart about it. They have great motivation, and they're likely busy, as we were talking about before. So
Right.
they carve out that time because they know they don't have time to drag their feet. They know that they want to get this done, and it's not going to happen by itself.
Right.
So we really try to continue to energize each other, motivate each other, and we all try to stick to our deadlines. And of course, you can always tease each other when you don't quite hit those deadlines.
You need that accountability from the other co-authors. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, I think that the editing piece is important too. So you
Yes.
read each other's work and you say, what about this? This sounded a little awkward to me. Or did you really mean this? And you know what? You're selling yourself short here. You need to shine a little
toot that
more.
horn.
Yes, exactly. And that's really nice. That's very supportive. And I think that really bodes for a better product because you have people that are lifting each other up and trying to keep them out of their shyness.
Right.
Sometimes we're a little shy. Like you said, we've been reluctant to tell our stories. Well, when you have a collaborative effort, you can, tell your colleague, hey, don't be afraid to share that. That's a really great story.
Right.
And you think that's nothing, but that is
Right, we
amazing.
downplay so
yes.
much.
Oh, absolutely. And so, when we have these joint efforts, these collaborative books, I think what happens is we really encourage each other to shine the way we're meant to be shining, and we'll take a risk that is important to get us ready for the next risk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also want to talk a little bit about, of course, your phenomenal enterprise, Right
Thank you.
Advisors.
Thank you.
How long has it existed? What do you do? Give us, in a nutshell, what Right Advisors does.
This is our 4th year, and we are a literary consultancy. We are also a transmedia company, and what I mean by that is that not only do we work with authors to help them express themselves in print, in traditional book format and ebook format, but we also look at ways to extend their content. So this is really important. Like you said earlier, we're changing the way that we read. So how do we get that information to people? Do we get it in shortened form? Do we write white papers? Do we write blogs? How are we using social media to get those messages out? How are we using other digital communications like video games, like feature films?
Right.
So there are a lot of ways that you can learn, a lot of ways that you can be entertained, a lot of ways that you can grow, and that's why we've moved into the transmedia space. So we help authors mostly in the nonfiction space, business, biography, and health and wellness. Although we have an occasional author come on where we can't say no, like some of my students at SCAD, but we have a wonderful collection of authors that feel very passionate about their work and we feel will be adding value to their genres.
Right.
Yes.
So you take their book idea, right, and it's a completed book sometimes, and sometimes you start from scratch
Right. So
with them to develop their book idea.
various stages of the idea, and sometimes we work with wonderful strategic partners in the book coaching business as yours, and really say, how else can we help you make money on this book, but also reach a greater audience, have greater impact? I mean, for example, this Climb book is a wonderful book, but it's 512 pages. Is there a way that we can get to the person who has only a few minutes? So what we did was we released this on ebook format, as I mentioned to you, but also we have individual PDFs available for each of the stories.
Nice. Okay. So that's a wonderful content extension opportunity
Right.
that the authors can use in their own business and career, but also you can use to help promote the book.
No question about it. And some of our clients need merchandising assistance too. So we have some that want to do, in the health and wellness space especially, we want to do calendars, they want to do cards, they want to do websites, they want to do customer events. So some of that falls under transmedia as well.
Okay.
So really we're continuing to use that content but in a different way and helping people absorb it in a different way. You know, there are a lot of ways that people learn, and we look at, the direct bullet pointed approach, we look at the storytelling approach, we look at audio and visual communication like in a video format. And really, we try to give our authors those options on
That's good.
how to get the word out,
Right.
so that it's not just a stagnant piece. It can have a life of its own, and we can kind of repackage and repurpose that
Right.
content.
And that just really supports the idea that it's bigger than the book.
It absolutely is. I mean, even if you look at like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People,
Right.
It started as one book, by, a young Mormon professor in Utah, and it's grown into this international sensation where you have audiobooks on cassette, on DVDs, on DVRs, downloadable. His son has now taken on the challenge because we've lost Senior, Covey Senior,
Right.
and we look at how long this body of content has been in our presence,
Right.
has been available
For a
to
very
us
long time.
a long time, and it's been in so many different ways, and
And
we
then
continue
extending
to be
it to
used.
different target audiences.
Right,
So,
like the teenagers,
7
like
habits of highly effective families,
Exactly.
or parents or whatever. So it's same with Chicken Soup for the Soul. Obviously, that's another great example.
when people ask me about the publishing versus the self-publishing part, and we do both, but Chicken Soup for the Soul is a wonderful example of a self-published effort that was bridged to a traditional book effort that was franchised and extended. So now we have over 8 billion books sold. We have
Amazing.
notepads, we have calendars, we have chat rooms, we have community events, we have online subscriber groups.
Right.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful program. And, my company did not do that book, although we have worked with Canfield, and he's just wonderful.
Yeah. So you do some wonderful work, and you provide some phenomenal service to clients. What are the types of clients you work with? You said mostly in the nonfiction genre.
Right.
Who comes to you? How do they find you? Who are these clients?
80% of my clients come to me through word of mouth. So it's usually based on a referral relationship from either one of my strategic partners or from another author. And what that challenges me to do is make sure that our portfolio of clients is balanced. So I may have 10 in the technology space and 4 in the biography space, and I have to take a look at that and say, is there cross-marketing opportunity in the technology space, or do I need to beef up what's happening in biography? And how does that compare to health and wellness? So, those are really our 3 target areas. And because our company has a presence in health and wellness, that's a natural feat for some of the scientists that come to us that want to be published, that don't have that expertise in writing. So that's nice. And then the biography area is almost 100% referral, because it's people wanting to trust you with their stories. And then in business, it's mostly networking through business organizations.
Of course. So how do our viewers find out more about Right Advisors?
Oh, thank you. We have a website, www.rightadvisors.com. And we also have my personal Facebook page, Bonnie Bajorek Daneker. And we post a lot of events on social media. So my Twitter handle is Bonnie Daneker. And so you can look at any of those 3 to find out where we are and what we're doing. And then also you can submit something if you'd like us to review part of your resume or part of your manuscript at our mailbox, our information mailbox, and that is info@rightadvisors.com.
Excellent. And tell us one more time how we can get a copy of Climb.
Yes, through Amazon.com or on mywit.org, mywit.org.
Excellent. Bonnie Daneker, thank you so much for joining us today on Book Your Success.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next time for the next episode of Book Your Success.
Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed again in archives on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are an entrepreneur and would like to appear on the program to discuss your book and share how you utilize it to enhance your business platform, submit an inquiry to Book Your Success at bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at www.bizlinks.tv.